I said I love him. I love having his support. You know what I'm saying? His support is like very, very different from what I've had in the past, and how he speaks to me and stuff is very different. There you go. We deserve each other.
Claressa Shields seems completely focused on Remy Ma, and the energy between them is intensely competitive. It just doesn't seem to let up. It feels like one of those ongoing clashes where neither side is willing to back down. And yeah, we definitely need to break it all down right now. What's up, YouTube? Today we're getting into Claressa Shields, Remy Ma, and yes, we'll also mention Papoose, because things are starting to get a little messy in a pretty interesting way. Here's the thing. Something doesn't quite add up, and I'm just saying it how it looks. It seems like Claressa Shields could be watching Remy Ma's Instagram from a burner account. The clues match up a little too well to just brush off. Let me paint the picture. Earlier on Friday, Claressa took her sister out for a big shopping spree, really going all in and making sure everyone saw it. With the Maserati situation happening at the same time, the timing felt pretty bold and noticeable. Then she follows it up with a full photo shoot and even claims she sent some explicit photos to Papoose, which kind of suggests he might not be physically around right now. That alone has people talking. No need to overanalyze. It's just how it comes across. All of this went down roughly 13 to 14 hours before I even started recording. Then comes the twist. About 6 hours before this recording, Remy Ma drops her own Instagram photo shoot styled in Balenciaga and clearly timed with intention. Even her caption felt deliberate. She wrote "Remin" with an orange emoji and a chocolate bar emoji, and paired it with Machine Gun by Savannah Hannah, a fresh track from this year. Nothing about it seemed random. Then, about 6 hours later, just a 1 hour gap, Claressa Shields fires back with another post. She shares a full set of staged photos, posing in what looks like an empty house, and it feels like a response without directly saying anything. The background track is Candy by Cameo, and her caption kicks off with a chocolate bar emoji, includes a life-size doll reference, and even mentions TIs in a single word spelled incorrectly. At that point, the level of attention toward Remy Ma is pretty hard to miss. If you're really paying attention, just admit it. I'm about to line these posts up so you can clearly see the back-to-back timing for yourself. Claressa makes sure to tag every little detail too, Louis Vuitton bags and all the extras, so nothing goes unnoticed. It definitely feels intentional. Now take a look and decide for yourself who pulled it off better. On one side, you've got Remy Ma, polished, strategic, and perfectly timed. Then just an hour later, Claressa Shields comes through with her response on Instagram, looking like she's got something to prove.
It'll be 2 years next year in September. We at the end of the year. Some of this stuff is just so old. You know, it's so old to talk about, to bring up, to keep harping on it. It's like they're separated. She got somebody too. Like, don't act like you're just over here. Like, she's happy, we're happy, and that's it. Like, I don't know what
Is it cordial though? Is it cordial or you just...
It was corny. It's always corny to do social media shit. You know what I'm saying? Who wants that? Who wants to be a part of the circus? So I just felt like it was corny.
The reactions also say a lot. When Remy Ma posted, there wasn't even a repost from pages like The Shade Room or Neighborhood Talk. Still, she managed to pull in around 20,000 likes and close to 300,000 views at the time of recording. That level of engagement without major media amplification is pretty telling on its own. And this is where things start to get even more interesting and a bit questionable. Claressa Shields posts just about an hour later, and this time her content does get picked up by The Shade Room. But even with that added exposure, she only ends up with roughly 2,000 more likes than Remy Ma, which is surprising considering the bigger boost in visibility. Meanwhile, Claressa and Papoose continue bringing up bots, fake likes, sponsored YouTubers and bloggers, but that narrative is starting to feel a bit too targeted to some viewers. It can come across like projection, especially when what's being said doesn't fully line up with what's happening in real time. The push for extra hype, clicks, and attention is also becoming more noticeable. On the other hand, Remy Ma appears to be moving more organically. She posts on Instagram and still manages to pull in strong engagement without relying on reposts or added promotion from bloggers or YouTubers. That contrast between the two approaches is hard for people to ignore. The comment section also started getting uncomfortable. Under Claressa's post, there was a suspicious comment allegedly from Papoose, but some people believe Claressa might have posted it herself. The timing seemed off, especially since Papoose wasn't really active on Instagram at that time. It gets even more complicated. Around 5 hours before I started recording, a comment from Papoose's account reportedly said, "I love those pictures, baby." Claressa quickly responded, saying, "Of course you love my pics the most. You got the special ones earlier," followed by a blushing and heart emoji. She then added, "Love you," with a kiss emoji. The public display came across as a bit excessive. Many felt those personal details weren't necessary to share. The overall pattern gives off a sense of pressure, almost like trying too hard to present everything as perfect and fully secure. The more it's shown this way, the more it looks like Claressa is putting in a lot of effort to make a point. And things really pick up in the comment section. If you look at the Shade Room post about Claressa, you'll see what people are saying. A large number of everyday users, not just bloggers, are weighing in, both men and women, and similar opinions are getting a lot of engagement. That matters because it reflects the overall sentiment from the audience. A lot of people don't seem to be receiving the situation the way it's being presented. For instance, one comment read, "Papoose has been around a fashion killer all these years. I know he hates how she dresses," followed by laughing emojis, which set the tone. Another simply said, "I love those pictures, baby." Overall, the comment section shows how closely people are paying attention and reacting to everything that's unfolding. Someone even dropped skeleton emojis, while another person replied, "Rem, we need to talk." And the side-eye emoji attached to it made people see things in a different way. The reactions kept going. Another user wrote, "You tricked us into thinking he was really that guy," which led to discussions about how some viewers felt misled, especially after the Vlad TV interview. The tone in the comments started to shift, with some now describing him as coming off more like a hater than anything else. Claressa also began to receive criticism. One comment said, "She's looking desperate," while another added, "We know who you're with. You don't have to keep reminding us every time." That sentiment hit because a lot of people seem tired of the constant need to prove things publicly. Another comment said that reply was weird. Nobody asked for all those details. And a lot of people agreed with that sentiment. Many started questioning why so much personal information was being shared so publicly. Another user added, "I'm not even a hater, but this really looks like she's replying to herself," which quickly gained traction. Someone else followed up with, "I used to support her 100%, but now I see why people say she's annoying." Overall, the same feeling kept repeating across the thread. It doesn't come across as natural. Instead, it feels forced, like everything is being performed online rather than kept private. Some people said a simple thank you would have been enough. One joke even read, "Remy must have posted again." Let me run to her page real quick. Pointing out how quickly Claressa seems to respond every time, people also pointed out the 1 to 2 hour gap between posts, which only added more attention to the situation. One comment summed it up by saying she couldn't just say, "Thank you, baby," highlighting how exaggerated the exchange felt to viewers. The discussion in the comments kept growing louder. One user asked, "Wait, she really had to tell us she sent him those pics?" Expressing surprise at how much was being shared, another joked, "Please take us out the group chat," which got a lot of laughs for how exposed the situation felt. Others added comments like, "She's no Remy," and "I'm not convinced," showing mixed reactions overall. It even started to look like she might be replying to herself from his account. with some users adding emojis that made the whole exchange feel even more uncomfortable. Some people even compared the situation to watching love on the spectrum play out on Instagram, saying it felt overwhelming. One commenter wrote, "In a few years, she's going to look back and cringe at how much attention she chased," followed by laughing emojis. Even though it was said in a lighter tone, the message was still clear. The whole thing came across as intense to a lot of viewers. More people started chiming in, saying they were trying to keep up with everything unfolding. Staying neutral is becoming difficult because the way it's playing out online keeps driving more reactions, and things don't seem to be slowing down anytime soon. Some comments go too far or become inappropriate, which doesn't really add anything constructive. But overall, a lot of people just seem tired of the constant back and forth and public displays. At this point, it's starting to raise bigger questions about the situation as a whole. What's actually going on behind the scenes? And what does the situation really look like from an outside point of view? At this stage, everything appears messy, confusing, and very public all at once, making it hard to separate fact from speculation. A lot of attention is now focused on the divorce situation, with people wondering whether there have been any official legal steps taken. Are there any confirmed proceedings, scheduled court dates, or reliable updates about where things currently stand? Since children are involved, there is usually a formal legal process that follows a clear structure, which is why many are asking about the final decree and whether it has been issued yet. As things stand, the big question people keep raising is simple. Is Papoose legally single at this point, or is the matter still unresolved? These details matter because uncertainty tends to attract even more attention, especially when relationships and emotions are unfolding so publicly. The lack of clear answers keeps people watching closely, trying to make sense of what is still unresolved. Another source of confusion is why personal messages and exchanges are reportedly being directed towards someone who is still legally married. All of this only adds more noise to an already chaotic situation. From an outside perspective, it feels increasingly messy and overanalyzed, with details being stretched into bigger meanings than they may actually carry. And when stepping back from it all, the focus shifts away from the speculation and settles into observation rather than conclusion.